Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov right here at Shira David. Chodesh Tov Muvarach LeKulam. Everyone should have a real freilich and chodesh. Misha nichnas adam marbim b'simcha. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we're in Likutey Halachos and we're in Hilchos Tzitzit. We're in Halacha Hey, and today we're going to do letter Yud Dalet 14. Okay, 14. So we're in the middle of learning our ideas about wine, and again, this is a part of our preparation for Purim, right? The whole idea is, right, a person should become intoxicated on Purim using wine. How to drink the wine and to be elevated and not to spew. Spew, right? But we cause the other side to spew instead, all of the kedusha he took back from us. So let's see what the Rebbe says today. Yud Dalet. Everyone have the place? 14. yayin shel nisachim shaleim oimim shir. So when they would bring the karbonos in the Beis Hamikdash, they would also have what they call the wine libations, right? The nichse yayin. Right, they would pour wine, and when they would pour the wine during the karbonos, they would say shira. And ein oimim ki ein oimim shir ella al yayin. You only say praise. You only sing. You only sing while you have the wine. So the Levium in the Beis Hamikdash would be the musicians, and the Levium, while the wine was being poured, they would sing their beautiful songs, and they would play their instruments. Why would they do that? Because again, when there's wine present, you can have song. Amen. Now watch what the Rebbe says now. Look at this. So again, the Reb Noson's in this theme of the imagination, right? He's teaching us how to correct our imagination, how to elevate our imagination. By elevating our imagination, we can always think in a positive way and not chas v'sholem in a negative way. So the karbonos, they are an aspect of beira hamedameh, right? All sacrifices are an aspect of beira hamedameh, right? Do we understand what that means? All animals, karbonos, right? They are an aspect to help fix our imagination, to fix our thought process. You know, it's an interesting thing. You know, we're learning now. In the Daf Yomi, we're learning about all the different karbonos and all the different things, and what all the different halachos Moshe Missinai. That if someone had an animal that they didn't was a chatas, and they didn't know, and the person passed away, so no one could bring that carbon chatas. Why? Because again, that carbon chatas was designated for that person. So here's what happens now. Look at this. Ki karbonos bayim mea behemas v'oifas sheheim bechinas hamedameh. You brought sacrifices in the Beis Hamikdash, right? So they were either well, we're talking about the livestock. The livestock were either birds, right? They were either birds or they were certain animals, right? The purpose of bringing the carbon was when the person made an inadvertent sin, right? He made a sin. He didn't recognize it was Shabbos or what have you. Okay, any of the sins that he did, he made a mistake. He miscalculated what day it was, and so on and so forth. So what would he have to do? He would have to bring a carbon. It's an amazing thing. The Medrash explains that people, the Beis Hamikdash was really helping people from doing averis. You know why? Listen to this. The Medrash, it's so sweet. The Medrash says all the kids of Yerushalayim used to hang around by the outside the Beis Hamikdash. They used to group around outside the Beis Hamikdash, and if they saw a guy coming by with a female animal, right, they would stop making fun of him. Ha ha! What'd you do wrong? Ha ha! The kids, they do that in a special way, right? Because you only bring a female animal for a carbon chatas. All the other karbonos are all a male. So they would see the guy walking his animal there, that's a female, and they would ridicule the guy. So that was one little safeguard that the guy knew. If one time he was ridiculed by all those kids, he would say, I better be careful what I do. I don't want to go through that humiliation again. Right? Again, medame, right? He's thinking about it. I better not do this thing wrong now. I better be very careful what I'm doing because he's imagining those kids ridiculing him, right? See again here, medame, right? The imagination, right? I'm just giving examples of how the imagination really drives us. And really, we can use it to protect us from wrongdoing, or it can help to elevate us. So the whole idea of the livestock was bechinas hamedame is all, now again, animals, like the Rebbe says now, ki behema yesh lo kayach hamedame, because animals, they themselves, all animals have this idea of imagination. They think, right? An animal they have instincts, right? Animals have instincts, and they have an imagination. They're thinking that if I fly here, if I go here, it'll be better, right? They imagine that. What causes the animal, the bird, to want to fly to a person? He feels it's going to be better. He's imagined that, again, however it works in a bird's mind, I don't know, but Reb Nosson is teaching us there's an aspect that the bird uses this same idea of imagination to motivate the bird to go where he may want to go, or the animal to do whatever it wants to do. Right? The animal thinks it's better to be over here. He feels he can get past the water or whatever it is, right? And whatever the case may be. Again, animals have this idea of imagination. So again, we use Kibahema Yesh Lo Kayach HaMedama. Shehu Kayach HaBahamas Kamavua B'Divrei Rabbeinu Zal. Right, so now we're also learning in Tanya the whole idea of the Nephesh Bahamas, right? The Nephesh Bahamas, the animal soul in the body, right? That's what we're learning in Tanya, right? 28, right? The Tanya's explained to us, what is this idea of the Nephesh Bahamas, right? Why is he called the Nephesh Bahamas? Because it's an animal soul. Right, we have the same characteristics as animals, but what drives us is the same thing from the side of the Kayach HaBahamas, right? The same way an animal wants to eat and wants to drink and wants to sleep and wants to have all the pleasures, whatever pleasures animals have. So too people, they live their lives that way. They live their lives with the Nefesh HaBahamas, right? They live their lives in the way of their animal soul, right? So Rabbi Nachman is speaking about this idea also in lesson 54. He speaks a lot about this idea also in letter 5. So that now we can understand. So why did the Torah set it up that if I make a mistake, if I made a mistake and I did something wrong, I did an Aveira, that I'm required to bring a carbon for? Why did the Torah set it up that I have to bring an animal? Why an animal? What did the animal do? Think about it, right? Why? In other words, I did something wrong. Yeah. I didn't know it was Shabbos today, and I wound up boiling my whatever I did. I turned on my light. Whatever I did whatever Chas v'Shalom I did wrong. Now, my rectification is I have to bring an animal. Why?
The closest thing to us.
Exactly. No, because again, I was thinking in that way, the same way the animal. I wasn't thinking. I was attached to my Nefesh Bahamas. I was attached to the animal instinct inside of me. I wasn't. So therefore, the Torah says, "What's the rectification? Bring an animal." You acted in a way of an animal. You weren't cognizant of what was going on. The same way an animal is not necessarily cognizant what's going on. So to the person was. So therefore, the Torah says the rectification is bring an animal. Do you ever think about that? Why you bring an animal? Why an animal? Right? It's interesting.
I love animals. I don't want to kill them.
You're not killing them, and again, the animal is happy to give its soul for God. So let's not get into animal rights here and all of that, activists and all of that stuff.
I just love animals. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you could love the animal, but the Medrash says actually the animals went willingly. Okay. The animals went willingly. They didn't fight. They understood that they were lucky enough to be the animal that's going to be put on the Mizbeach. The animals were very pleased with that. So that means, you see that the animals can also have an elevation. So we certainly we should be able to have an elevation, right? Using our Nefesh Bahamas when we need to use it.
So why that particular animal? Why not a horse or
Because the Torah tells us that the horse is an unclean animal. You can't bring it on the Mizbeach. It has to be a clean animal.
kosher?
Has to be a kosher. Well, I'm calling it
Okay.
a kosher animal. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But we can bring birds.
A bird, yes. If someone didn't have, if someone didn't have the means, they could have brought a bird instead. If they had less means, they were able to bring a mincha, right? Okay, a flower. But either way, okay. We're discussing here the idea of the koyach hamedama, right? This koyach of imagination and what the connection is, the imagination to wine. What's the connection to the karbanos? Why in the Beis Hamikdash did the Levium sing and they did their song only when the wine was being spilled, right? When they were doing the wine libation, that's when the Levium was in, because there's no shira ella alayayin. You can't have song only with wine. Okay, levara medame. Because all sins, look at what Rav Nosson says, amazing. All sins stem from a person's imagination, right? A person feels, if I eat this, if I go here, if I'm with this person, if I do this thing, it's going to be great. It's all imagination. It's not real. It's not real. But the imagination drives the person to do whatever he's going to do. The same way we keep saying that a person can imagine, I can finish Shas, I will finish Shas, I can learn through Mishnah, I can learn through Shulchan Aruch, I can be Mavis Sedra with Rashi every week. I can do it. I really can do it. Again, that's the imagination. That's using the imagination in the proper way, not in the other way. So we're learning how you can elevate the imagination. The koyach hamedama. Okay, so all Averis really come from this aspect of the medama, from this idea of imagination. It's interesting, Rav Eli, right? It's an interesting idea to think. Really, we have this imagination. It's unbelievable. So therefore, now when I bring the animal, think about this now. You take the animal, and if you did, the person made an avei, right? So he has to say vidui, right? What do you have to? He have to put his hands on the thing, and he had to say vidui, right? Amazing, mamash amazing. Why? He was thinking that I'm bringing this animal instead of myself. That was the thought. This is like when we do the kaparis, right? When we do the chickens, right? We say there's a kaparasi, v'zeh chalvasi, v'zeh tarnagol yelech umitza, but he kodesh yelech lechayim toivim shom, right? Something like that. Okay, right? And why is it? Because I'm giving this. I know it's really supposed to be my life, but the chicken's taking the onus of my burden of what I did wrong. So to these animals in the Beis Hamikdash, it also the Medrash goes on to say that the Kahanim were very, very, very wise, and they were able to tell, they were able to sense if the person was actually doing tshuva or not. And it was amazing what they would do. The Medrash really explained so beautifully that the Kahanim would wink to the Levium, and if they saw that they felt that the person wasn't sincere on his vidui, and the Levium would start a song to bring the guy to tshuva, a more serious song, right? We know that what do you call it? That song can bring a person to tshuva if it's done in the right way. Like we say in the morning, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Right? David HaMelech says, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Rabbi Nachman writes another place. Right? So he asks like this. David HaMelech says, serve God in joy. But maybe my day isn't going so well. Maybe my day is, maybe things aren't going well. The example that he gives is maybe the chicken didn't lay the eggs today. Maybe I didn't get my milk from the cow today. Right, I know, whatever, but we can translate that to modern times also, right? Cheers. Right. I didn't get my order today. I didn't get this. Whatever it is. So then, what do? How can you be happy? So if you notice in the pasuk, there's a comma there. Ivdu es Hashem v'simcha comma bayu lefana birinana. That's the end of the pasuk. Bayu lefana birinana. Start a nigun. Start a song. Start a song. If you start a serious song, it'll bring you to tshuva. Tshuva is the antidote to fix what's going wrong. So David HaMelech has it in the pasuk. If it's not going well for you today, So what do you do? Baya lefana b'rinana. Start a song. So the Kohanim would do the same thing like this. What?
No, I hear some people talk about managing your state.
Yeah.
How like your state of, are you in joy, are you in fear, are you wherever you are, and to get out of it, they recommend certain things, and I never thought of doing a nigun.
Oh, and
That seems like it would really fit, obviously.
That's what the Rebbe says. That's yeah. It's the real advice. David HaMelech is teaching it, actually. The Rebbe is bringing it out for us, but it's in the Psalms. It's in the sentence, in the verse. Right? It's not.
No, but I've never heard that before, so I'm just saying that.
Yeah, sometimes if
because you want to manage your joy. So if you want to be joyful and you're not feeling joyful, start a nigun. It's so easy, and anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, exactly. But you have to know the tools to know how to use them and when to use them, right?
Right.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go here. Alkei. Mevian oz yayin l'nisachim v'oimim aleim shir. So again, while this is going on in the Beis Hamikdash, why this is going on? The guys, whatever the karbanos are going on. Again, animals are being slaughtered, and while they're doing that, there's also the nisach hayayin. They're doing the wine while they're doing their wine libations. What's going on? And the Levium are singing song. Ki hayayin hu bechinas sheina hu bechinas medame. Because wine has the property to it that it can put a person to sleep, right? Wine, sometimes people drink wine, like we learned in the last few lessons. Wine, you drink it, and the person becomes sleepy, and then he falls asleep, and that's medame, right? Because the whole all dreams are also medame, all imagination. Shehu yayin the kedusha. That's wine of holiness. While they were doing this, especially when they were doing the wine libations in the Beis Hamikdash, of course, that was something of kedusha. By days and the stocking of Adama b'shleimus, that would cause a tikkun for the person's medama, and it should be in a complete way. Because what are we saying like this now? We say that wine, if a person drinks wine in the right way, and he's always thinking of Hashem, and the wine helps him to be closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. So what's going to happen when he drinks his wine? He's going to be in an elevated state, closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. But if he drinks the wine, and he's not thinking of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and rather he's thinking about enjoying the wine. He's a wine connoisseur, and he just enjoys the wine, and he sits there sipping the wine, and he's drinking like that. So then that's going to bring him to the wrong things. That's going to wind up causing, like we learned, he'll wind up spewing, wind up vomiting, right? Wine will cause him to vomit. But we said when a person drinks wine in the right way, it elevates him, brings him closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. And what happens then? If he does that so good, he can cause the other side, the Sitra Acher, to then give back all the Kedusha that he stole from him over all of the years. He can cause him to come back all by drinking wine. Look at the wine has so many different properties, and it's unbelievable. And we said, Eli, this is so nice. We're getting ready for Purim to understand what the purpose of the drinking the wine is. Really, where is what benefit can I have by drinking the wine? Okay. Now, and through that you can come from the song of the future. We keep talking about that, the Chut Shel Chesed, right? Chut Shel Chesed, right? The Tzitzis. We're in Hilchas Tzitzis, right? So we're talking about Tzitzis as the Chut Shel Chesed. What's the Chut Shel Chesed? Tzitzis has 72 strings. Yeah, you have 72? How do you have 70? You know how you have 72? No, here you go. Okay. I'll tell you right now, Eli. So good. Each one of your strings starts out as 4 long strings. Right. But they're shazor, they're twisted. Right. So each string is really 2. Okay. So your 4 is really 8. And then you take your 8 and you make from that 16. Right? Because you have 8 strings hanging down, but each are 2, so now you have 16. So 16 times 4 is 64, and then 8 for tzitzis itself. Then it's tzitzis gives you 72. Okay, so that's 72. And we're learning about that, the kinar from David HaMelech, from Mashiach Tzidkenu that's going to come, is going to have 72 strings on it. That's what they say. That's what they say. We can't wait to hear that. That'll be such a beautiful song. Huh?
What is 72, like numerology, means something as well?
Well, that's the Shema Mafarish is also 72. Hashem's name.
Or Hashem's name.
Yeah, Hashem's made it 72, right? So there's a lot of things.
More than tzitzit than looking at the strings.
Yeah. And then when you look at the strings, we said that you remember, like the Torah says, or Isam Isa Yuschartem is Kol Mitzvahs Hashem Vasisem Isa V'lo Yisasur Achrei Levavchem V'Achrei Einechem, right? Because again, that's the Medame, right?
Translate that, please.
When I see the tzitzis, I'll remember all of the positive, all of the commandments of Hashem, both the positive and the negative commandments. Okay, and then my tzitzis will help me not to stray after my heart or my soul or my eyes. My right? That's the way we translate it. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I just know the way. Yeah. Baruch Hashem. No. Mordechai, thank you.
What's the difference between straying after your heart versus using your heart?
You can, but but the heart's desire. A person, sometimes the heart is pounding. The Yetzer Hara is in the left ventricle of the heart. That's what we learned.
Well, what if the heart's desire is being close to Hashem?
Well, that's good. No. So we learned in the Tanya, and it's known that David HaMelech says that he has a cholol bekirbi, he has a void inside of him. What was the void that David HaMelech had? He had a void, and the left side of his heart was hollow. Why was it hollow? Because he was able to vanquish his Yetzer Hara through fasting. David HaMelech was able to get rid of his Yetzer Hara. That's the cholol bekirbi. But we have the Yetzer Hara.
Possible to do that. That's cool.
What?
Get rid of your Yetzer Hara.
Yeah. Well, David HaMelech was able to do that. Yeah, David HaMelech. Okay. Shir Shalasa. Shemisham Nimshachim Kol Ashiras. That's where all song, true song, not the noise of the world, not that, the real song. True songs that are written by people that are real balim and negina that are mevakshay Hashem, not just listening to that other stuff is going to drive a person away. It's not going to bring him closer to Hashem, right? If you listen to songs from people that are mevakshay Hashem, people that are working on kiddush and tahara, so those songs from those people can be very, very beneficial. Right, but don't think that you have songs and I'm going to go turn on the radio and listen to all kinds. No. That's not going to drive the person in the right way. Okay, it depends who's the one singing and who wrote the song and so on. Okay, Kol Hashiras. This is the idea of the song that we would sing on the wine. Again, the wine, the song, right? Because again, when I have wine, I have song. The song is from the Shir Shel Asid. It's from the time of when Mashiach Tzidkenu, Mitzvah Hashem will greet Mashiach Tzidkenu today. Be'ez Hashem. Stop all the nonsense that's going on in the world, right? Halavai Hashem, please. Okay, so all the song is really stemming from that day. And that's the Olam Hanegina, which is the highest world, right? The highest world of all the worlds. The Zay says is the Olam Hanegina. There's a song, there's a world of song, whatever that means, I don't know. But there's a world of song. All song stems from that place. The main song comes, and the true song comes by a person rectifying and clarifying his medama, thinking always in the right path, the right way, getting closer to our Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shu bechinas yayin. That is an aspect of yayin. David, do you want to do the Tanya now? Are you ready?
What time did you start?
We're good. You want? I'm just finishing your dalit.
Okay, good.
Okay, shkoyach everyone. Chodesh tov.